Good day. My name is Limar Conciliado, and my report would be the transportation policy analysis and planning. The focus would be the transportation policy frameworks in the Philippines. This would be the technical tour overview and framework of the study. The National Transport Policy, NTP. The strategic NEDA framework was adopted in 2017. The NTP aims to address the lack of coordination and overlapping agency functions in the Philippine transport sector. They would integrate all transport modes and they would prioritize the public mass transport and the environmental sustainability and safety. The institutional governance. There are three of them. DOTR would be the policy-making, planning, and administrative entity for all transportations. LTFRB and the LTO are for regulation of all land-based passenger transports and vehicle licensing standards. The MMDA, which is particularly for our NCR Manila, manages traffic and planning specifically only in NCR. The POVMP transformation. In short, jeepney modernization. The Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program is a flagship policy to replace our old polluting jeepneys with safe and more efficient Euro 4 compliant units. The key pillars include fleet modernization, route regionalization, and industry consolidation through cooperatives. In short, all jeepneys will be paid through the companies and the government as well.
Hello, my name is John Omega, and I'm part of the group Madagascar, and I'm here to continue with the report. So, what is the BBM? It does not mean for Bongbong Marcos, but instead stands for Build Better More. So, what does it do? So, the BBM or the Build Better More program is the Philippine government major infrastructure development plan under Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. So the BBM still stands there for Bongbong Marcos, but it means build better more. So it is a mass transit expansion. But what is BBM or build better more in better explanation? So it is a national infrastructure program started on the year 2002 and has a range up till 2028 that focuses on building and improving key facilities across the country. So the current policies focus on high capacity rail systems to decongest urban corridors. So it is an effort to uh, improve the train or the rail systems around Luzon first because the Metro Manila subway is a first prime example of this. Sorry, my camera is slipping. The country's first underground railway. Then we have the NSCR, which is a 147-kilometer north to south commuter railway project. Then the LRT1 Cavite extension, expanding reach to the south. So the main goal of the BBM is to improve the transport system that includes the roads, primarily the railways, airports, and seaports. So it expands digital and communicational networks, strengthen health, agriculture, water, and energy system with the help of the integrations of the transportation. It supports the economic growth and job creation. In simple terms, it aims to make the Philippines more connected, efficient, and economically competitive by investing heavily in infrastructure. Then, moving on, we have the expressway interconnectivity, a 1.8 kilometers of Skyway Stage 3. So what does expressway connectivity? What is it? So the expressway connectivity is in the Philippines refers to the government effort to link major expressways into one continuous seamless road network, especially across Luzon since they have the biggest or more advanced road systems in the nation. It's a key part of the broader infrastructure project pushed by President Bongbong Marcos under the Build Better program. So this is one example that we have an aerial view of the Skyway Stage 3, which has, let's count, one, two, three, four, five, six lanes of an express road. And they also have the toll gate na, which is stated in the photo. So, moving on. Then we have the active transport policies that is pushed. So we have the inclusive mobility. So post-pandemic policies have shifted towards non-motorized transport, or the NMT. This refers to bicycles, electric bicycles. The National Bike Lane Network, over 500 kilometers, established nationwide. Since the pandemic, the government has pushed to people to save on fuels and not buy private cars, and encourages people to use non-motorized vehicles or transport. This includes bicycle. That's why they add bicycles lane in EDSA and pushing it to other parts of the nation. We can see that in Ormoc City, we have bike lanes in the major road na, some located in the national highway. They have bike lanes na there, and maybe more in the future. So we also have the pedestrian prioritization, integrated walkways and safer interconnections. Since people use also the road for crossing and going to the other side, pedestrian prioritization is integrated na. That's why we have pedestrian lanes in major roads in the cities, so our pedestrian can walk safer in intersections. And this could also be expanded in what's this, skyways, the one that the bridge. Yes, skyways that pedestrian can walk over, or yes, that. And that includes my report, and another one of my group mate will continue. Thank you.
Proceeding in another topic, we have Spotlight the PITX Landport. Intermodal integration, the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, which is PITX, serves as a major case study in modern transport planning. We have daily footfall over 200,000 plus passengers. Connectivity, we have jeepney, bus, rails, featuring automated ticketing and centralized OPS. Another topic is rail transit system analysis. So we have here is our figure that we capacity analysis for daily ridership across major Metro Manila rail lines. So we have three lines: line 1, line 2, line 3. And line 1 we have LRT 1, line 2 we have LRT 2, and line 3 we have MRT 3. So this is overcapacity. So from the highest to lowest, we have the highest over 600,000 capacity. We have MRT 3, and then followed by 500,000 capacity for LRT 1, and lastly 240,000 capacity for LRT 2. And then logistics and freight policy. So enhancing port efficiency. So policy focuses on diverting cargo from Manila ports to Subic and Batangas to reduce urban congestions. It is said though a seamless intermodal transport logistics network is essential for national trade competitiveness. For our last slide, we have policy implementation matrix. We have policy area, our target objective, and then current status. The policy area first is mass transit, which is target objective for this is increase modal share to rail, and current status is subway and NSCR underway. Next is PUVMP. Target objective for this is fleet modernization and consolidation. And then current status is active fleet replacement. So, another one is active transport. So, active transport, we have target objectives, safer and empty infrastructures, and then our current status for this is bike lane network expansion. And then, for lastly, we have logistics. And our target objectives for logistics is reduce shipping cost. So, current status is port optimization projects.
Good day everyone, I am Christian Gaetano. I will continue the discussion with my part on planning and evaluation tools. So, what are planning and evaluation tools? Planning and evaluation tools are methods used in transportation engineering to plan, design, and assess transportation systems. And planning refers to predicting future needs and developing solutions, while evaluation involves measure the performance and effectiveness of those solutions. These tools help ensure that transportation systems are efficient, safe, and sustainable. So, in short, ang planning kay para i-predict ang future traffic demand o maghimo og solusyon. While ang evaluation kay para i-check kung ang solution kay effective ba after implementation. So, planning tools. Planning tools are methods used before and during design to prepare transportation system. They help predict traffic demand, help plan road networks, help design transport system. So, gigamit ni sila para ma-analyze ang situation ug ma-design ang transportation system based sa data. Dili lang ang estimate. So example, kung expected mo daghan ng sakyanan, so dapat mag-plan jud ta og wider road or alternative road. So next is K-planning tools. So natay tulo ka K-planning tools. First is travel demand modeling. Next is traffic analysis. And third is GIS or Geographic Information System. So, muna example sa travel demand modeling. So, maka-estimate ni siya sa future traffic volume. So example, kung natay itukod nga mall sa city, gamiton ang travel demand modeling para ma-estimate kung pila ka tawo ang mobisita adlaw-adlaw o pila ka sakyanan ang mogamit sa mga dalan sa mall. So next is traffic analysis. So mo ni example sa traffic analysis. So mao din ni ang maka-studies flow, speed, and congestion. So example, sa usa ka busy intersection nga permit traffic during rush hour, ginahimo ang traffic analysis para tan-awon ang volume sa sakyanan, speed o delay. Based ani possible solution like traffic signal adjustment or road widening ang i-propose. So next is GIS or Geographic Information System. So mo na example sa GIS. So mo ni ang mapping and location planning. So gamit ni siya nga digital map nga naay information para makatabang sa pagdesisyon. So para makatabang sa pagdesisyon kung asa ibutang ang dalan o project. Evaluation tools. Evaluation tools are methods used during or after a project to check its performance. They measure if the project is effectiveness. Second is check if goals are achieved. Third is support decision making. So in short, ang ang evaluation tools kay gigamit para i-check kung ang project kay effective pa ba or gina-measure ani kung na-improve ba ang traffic, kung na-achieve ba ang goal o kung unsa pa ang dapat i-improve.
Good day everyone, my name is Tommy Wanzon. I'm the second reporter. Now, let's talk about evaluation tools. Evaluation tools are methods used during or after the project to determine whether the project is performing well and achieving intended objectives. In simple terms, these tools help us assess if the project is effective and successful. They are important because they help us measure if the project is effective, check whether the project goals have been achieved, and support better decision and making for future improvements. Now, let's look at some key evaluation tools commonly used in civil engineering and transportation projects. First is cost-benefit analysis, or CBA. These tools help determine if the benefits of a project are greater than its cost. In other words, they answer the question, is the project worth the investment? Second is the environmental impact assessment. These tools evaluate how a project may affect the environment, such as air quality, noise levels, natural resources, and nearby communities. Third is performing measure. The tool focuses on specific indicators such as traffic delay, travel speed, and safety. It helps us determine whether a project has improved overall performance. To better understand this, let's look at an example. Suppose the project is road widening. During the planning stage, engineers first predict future traffic volume using the travel demand modeling. They also identify areas congestion through traffic analysis. During the evaluation stage, they cost-benefit analysis to determine the project provides good economic value. They also use performance to measure to compare the project condition before and after the project. As a result, if the evaluation shows faster traffic flow and less congestion, we can conclude that the project was successful. In summary, evaluation tools help us to determine whether the project is effective, beneficial, and capable to meeting its goals. They play an important role in improving quality and success of engineering project. And that's all my topic. Thank you.
Good day guys, I am Dana Diaz and today we're going to have a discussion all about the Philippine transport policies. This is to be presented by me, Dana Diaz, and to be followed by Joram Pubadora and last, Shaira B. Nervis. So let's start. The Philippine National Transport Policies. So it is a plan to make traveling easier and better for everyone in the country. This policy is centered on a vision of creating a secure, reliable, efficient, integrated, and intermodal, affordable, cost-effective, environmentally sustainable, and people-oriented national transport system that ensures improved quality of life of the people. In short, the policy is a map to fix this problem so that every Filipino can have a better quality of life through better travel. Next, we have a policy constraints. Acknowledge that the Philippine transport system indicates recurring issues such as lack of integrated and coordinated transport network, overlapping and conflicting functions of transport agencies, transport safety and security concerns, and indicate transport facilities, particularly and conflict affected and underdeveloped areas. Then we have the policy implementation receipt. This focus on ensuring effective government coordination to provide an intermodal connectivity and good governance, safety, compliance, eco-friendly system, and infrastructure investments that drive inclusive economic growth across the country. Local government participation and stakeholders collaboration with the end in view of providing intermodal connectivity among transport infrastructure, affecting good governance through streamlined transport regulation, rationalized transport agency function policies aligned with government priorities programs, ensured adherence to safety standard and compliance with international agreements, promoting green and people-oriented transport system, creating new economic growth centers outside of the country's key cities for inclusive growth through access improvement and support to tourism, agro-industry, trade and logistic and other economic sectors, and promoting transport infrastructure investments. Uh, Next topic is transport strategy formulation, and this is to be discussed by Joram Pombadora. That is all for my part. Thank you.
So, hello everyone. My name is Joram Pabadar and I'll be the next reporter. Today, we're going to discuss about the transport strategy formulation in the Philippines. So, first is the comfortable life strategy. Second is the fast and sure strategy. Next is the temporal objective strategy. And lastly is the transit-oriented development strategy. But we're gonna talk about that later. Next is the transport strategy formulation, continuation gyapon ni siya, land value capture strategy, and the hybrid PPP strategy. So, first, let's just discuss about the comfortable life strategy. So, the primary attribute of common Filipino commuters are in the Filipino in the past 25 years have been toiling. Average commute time of 5 hours a day. And in lower income strata at 6.5 hours a day. So basically is kuan ni siya kay comfortable life strategy is kuan ang objective nila is to give back precious time to our citizens or to minimize time travel, lower commute time to 2.5 hours a day, best possible comfort in commuting, walay kuan, smooth sailing ilahang kuan, dagan silang kuan pag commute, optimal means of transport, reduce wait time and delays, and remove improbabilities in the system. Next, we have the fast and sure strategy. A project should have a commitment to deliver a comfortable life in the shortest amount of time. So, basically this is fast and sure, paspas ka maabot sa destination og safe pud imo travel. Next is the temporal objective strategy. So traditionally, transportation object is spatial. The dense urban areas needs time, space, and considerations. Temporal objective kay narabi ba na lugar na out of range or layo ra sa sila and door-to-door objectives. Next is the transit-oriented development strategy. So transit-oriented development or TOD supports the temporal objective. Transit it's inclusive participation. So transit-oriented development or TOD in our primary vehicle for inclusive growth. Next is the land value strategy. So transit-oriented development TOD results into land value capture. it is the implementation of constraints sa mga kuan tawag ani murag constraint niya ba. Next is the hybrid PPP strategy. So, abot na ni diri ang mga fiscal benefits ug ang political benefits. And that's all for my part of the topic. Thank you very much.
I will be presenting Saka pillar of the Philippine National Transport Policy, the prime strategic reset of mobility through interconnectivity. Ang mobility through interconnectivity focuses from nag-shift from focusing from simply building more roads to creating more synchronized multimodal network. Next, we have the railway infrastructure rollout. Ang rollout of railway infrastructure in the Philippines, it serves as the backbone for the mobility through interconnectivity process. So, kaning strategy has moved from pure planning into a high-intensity construction phase with several mega projects hitting critical milestones. Next, we have the implementation strategy. So for a large-scale transit system, which specifically focuses on the hierarchy of the network and the organizational structure for procurement, Kanino is a practical application of the mobility through interconnectivity. First, we have the trunk and feeder, or the network structure. Kaninga section describes a hub and spoke model designed for maximum efficiency. Single mode primary mainline or the metro grade capacity trunk mainline. So Kani is designed to move the largest volume of people over the longest distances. Next, have the light and medium metro as feeder. Kani is for smaller, specialized lines that bring people from residential or commercial areas to the main trunk line. Next, we have the intermodal feeders. So kani is mga non-rail connections such as buses, jeepneys, or shuttles na nag-ensure sa kanang last mile of a commuter's journey. So it covers the commuter's journey, linking different modes of transport into one network. The TOD at mainline level, or the 55-minute temporal objective, or the transit-oriented development, or TOD. So ibig sabihin ani is kanang building high-density housing and offices directly around stations. So ang 55-minute temporal objective is a strategic goal that ensures a commuter can travel from their starting point to their destination within 55 minutes by utilizing this interconnected network. Second, ang combined local and foreign best procurement practices. Current section defines the chain of command for building the project using standardized rules to avoid confusion and delays. Role-based strategy is assigning specific non-overlapping responsibilities to different entities. Ang government budget ministry naman as procurement board, they control the funds and ensure the financial side of the bidding process is transparent and follows the law. So government transport ministry as employer. So kanino kay high-level owner of the project. Sample, DOTR, representing the state's interest. Next kay ang implementing agency or the end user. Specific group that will actually run the trains. Example, the Philippine National Railways. They defined the technical requirements because they are the one who will use the finished product. Next, ang general consultant as engineer. An outside expert firm that supervises construction, ensures quality, and acts as a neutral party to resolve technical disputes between government and the contractors. Discipline across procurement rules, a push for strict adherence to timelines to ensure that bottlenecks aren't caused by paperwork or mga kanang slow decision making. Next, have the project delivery strategy. May two strategy under project delivery strategy, no? First, kaya ang negotiation strategy. Next, kaya ang organizational transformation strategy. Ang negotiation strategy, no? Kaya we break down the whole negotiations into smaller parallel negotiations, delegated sub-negotiators, lower level agreements are agreed and disposed. Only escalated matters are finally disposed in final round of negotiations. 15 days or 95% of issues, 21 to 30 days to rebid, and game theory methods to resolve that. Next kay ang organizational transformation strategy. Under ano kay siya adapted a new attrition model within our organizations, simultaneous massive training, values formation as cornerstone of transformation culture, and then last kay ang massive delegation of tasks.
So, good day. Ako day si Miko. Ako mo report sa kanina topic. So, technical tour in transportation systems or topic 7.4, technical tour or traffic center, port, airport, or transit system. And also, kani siya transportation policy analysis and planning. So, kani siya is nag-focus ni siya sa transportation system basically sa mga katong na mga real places na makita nato kung gyud sa paglihok ang mga sistema sa transportation, so we can see how transportation system work or kanang instead na magbasa ra ta makaibaw ta kung gyud sa pag-operate na public transportation. So next is, so what is technical tour? So kani siya kung unsa ni siyang technical tour? So technical tour is an organized field visit to real transportation facilities. So kani siya is magkuha lang ta hindi lang ta kay magsigila kita sa online or sa kanang mga news but ang ato ni siya i well observed in real situation or atong ibisitahon kung unsay nahitabo sa situation ani niya o unsay transport management and unsay mga infrastructure system, like for example mo visit ta sa terminal, ma-observe nato kung unsay mga dispatch sa mga bus, unsay mga kuan sa mga passenger nato ug unsay mga kuan kaning terminal manage sa flow sa traffic nya ato makita kung unsay kining pagdagan sa traffic flow or kanang sa mga tao sa terminal. And also ang mga students at maka-observe sila kung unsay mga traffic operation, maka-gain sila insight kung unsay kuan sa management, and also makonect nila ang kining ilang nahibaw-an sa ilang pag-eskwela sa real life, like this helps the kuan connect classroom theories like kung unsay mga practical engineering application sa ormo unya mao ni ang paagi na makonekta ra nga tong kuan nakatunan sa klase ngadto sa tinuod nga sitwasyon. And next is ang kuan mao ni siya ang objectives of technical tour. First one is understand transportation facility management. So for example, anis when we go to a port sa Ormoc na we learn na kung how they manage the loading and unloading of cargo kining sa mga cargo ship sa kining sa tong port para sa ma-ensure nato na ang ato ang mga barko is safe. And second is ang observed traffic flow and control system. mo ni siya is we could visit the sample is kanang mo visit ta sa Ormoc City Traffic Management Unit para operational makita nato kung unsay mga operational area o mo kita nato kung unsay kuan sa mga traffic enforcer giun sa nila pag-manage sa mga intersection, giun sa nila pag-responded ang mga incidents sa syudad. And next is number 3 is analyze safety and security procedures. So if example ani is we visit ani sa Ormoc City Airport, we can observe na giun sa nila pag-handle ang mga safety checks sa mga small aircraft o mga general aviation security para sa ma-ensure nato na safe o secured ang ato mga flight. And fourth is relate classroom concepts to engineering practice like pananglitan ang atong nakatunan bahin sa kaling for example na atong nahibawan is kaling road construction materials or PB design makita nato kung giunsa kini pag-implement sa mga karsada sa Ormoc ug makita sad nato is kung unsay kanang kuan na sakto ba ni siya pag-implement. Next is ang kaning possible technical tour location. So kani siya ang murag sakyanan is mo ni siya ang traffic management centers. So for example ani is kaning the traffic Ormoc City Traffic Management kala mga sa kuan kala sa traffic nato. So mo ni siya ang kaning mga office or kaning nag-operational areas where mga kung asa gi monitored ang traffic and kani siya murag angkla is mo ni siya ang seaport or kining facilities. So the port of Ormoc nga ni is the key location where nanang mga inter-island ato mga cargo operations nag-take place niya. Kani siyang airplane na logo is mo ni siyang airport operations like sa mo ni siyang kalang sa atong insights sa atong regional air travel o mga aviation procedures. And sa kaning usa is mo ni siyang transit system or katong mga bus terminals, rail stations. So mo ni siya important ni siya for land travel connecting to other part of the kuan sa city.
So in continuation sa report niya about technical tour and transportation system, so what to observe during the tour? So traffic monitoring systems such as CCTV and traffic signals mo na sila itong ma-observe inig ka ng mag-tour na ta. And passenger movement and crowd and management, cargo handling and logistic operation, infrastructure design, maintenance, and safety measure. So, sa traffic and monitoring system such as CCTV and traffic signals, almost common na ni siya, makita ni nato para sa security. While kaning mga passenger, siyempre, kaning mga kanang kuan, kaning mga pananitan, ports or airports na dyan mga passengers niya, mag-movement, di man sila mag-stop na uban, magpahuway sa mga lunch, pero ang uban, kuan dyan na sila kay naman sila giapas ka time. While sa kaning cargo handling and logistic operation, mo ni siya ang kanang mga cargo na to nga pang usahay ipang load or usahay pang unload and kaning infrastructure design mo na ang atong makita nga mga design sa sud sa kanang mga terminals ngana or sa mga airports. So possible technical tour location. So natakol ni Miko ganina which is ang traffic management center which is mao na ang nag-observe sa real-time traffic or monitoring signal control, incident management, and data analytics system. So, sila ang mga nag-control sa kanang kuan panitan mga nagbantay sa mga CCTV nga na mo na sila ang traffic management center. While sa seaport facilities naman, mo na sila ang ga-explore cargo handling operation, container terminals, logistics, management, and port infrastructure. So, makita man sa picture nga na siya kanang mag-unload or mag-load sa kanang mga cargo. So, sa airports naman, visit runways, control towers, baggage handling system, passenger terminals, and airport safety information. So, sa airports naman, daghan kay ni sila like na mga kuan, na mga nagbantay sa tower, watchtower mo na sila nagbantay sa traffic sa air traffic and na may sa mga nagbantay sa mga
kanang mga handling sa mga baggage mao na sila nya. Sa transit system naman, post terminal rail station, nasad na sila kanang kuan kanang they examine public transport operations, scheduling, passenger flow, and maintenance facilities. So, kanang sa LRT or sa mga bus terminals, mo na silang inika na sila stop station mo nang usaratanan ng mga passengers. So, next one is ang benefits of engineering students about sa kanang technical tour kay it provides real world industry exposure, so improves observation and analytical skills, builds professional awareness of transport operation, and encourages critical thinking and problem solving. So gingon na ni Miko ganina nga mas importante jud ang kanang maatuan jud nato or makita nato sa personal ang mga butang, so para maka-provide ni sila og kanang real world industry exposure and maka-improve sad ni sa atong mga analytical skills and maka-observe sad ta kung unsay mga flow sa mga tawo nga mga passengers ingana or sa tibuok nga katong upat nga atong gipakita ganina. While sa build professional awareness of transport operation naman, mao ni siya ang atong mga may bawaan na nato kung ma-aware na ta sa mga atong i-build puhon panlitan ma-engineer na ta and ma-encourage ni sa critical thinking nato and problem solving. So makasolve tag mga problema kay nakakita naman ta sa personal kung unsay mga galaw adto. So sample learnings and insight: efficient traffic system reduce congestion, delays. Safety protocols are critical transportation operation, while technology improves transport efficiency and reliability. Good planning supports sustainable mobility. So, ang efficient traffic systems maka-reduce din siya kanang congestions and delays. Imbes kanang sa mga bus terminal kanang madugayan unta nya kay nindot man ang sistema man ang madali na lang and samot na sa kanang mga air transit kanang air nga mga sakyanan kay kanang risky gid kay na if maggamay lang nga traffic aw kanang delay ana wa sad tig magabangga ang mga eroplano man ang naay mga traffic systems nga atong sundon nya. Samot na ning safety protocols kay mo na pinaka-importante. Safety protocols are critical in transportation operation kay kung may safety wasabti ka nang magka-dumbol-dumbol na mga kuandira, mga sakyanan or mga barko. And next one is technology improves transport. So mas magamitan jud ang mga computer nga na kay mas efficient man sila kanang mas reliable pud ang ilang mga calculation. So mo na yung gitawag nga planning kay nindot kay ang planning makasustain jud siya sa mga mobility or makasustain siya mas mulungtad pa siya, matugayan pa siya sa panahon. So, in conclusion, technical tours bridge theory and practice. They help future engineers better understand transportation system, operation, and planning. So, technical tours jud kay mo jud ang kanang ang nasa eskwelahan theory raman and morning kanang mag technical tours ta kay para ma-practice nato ang atong kagalingon in person, like may bawaan nato kung ingana ng mga manang nahitabo sa kanang usa ka lugar. So makatabang sad ni nato para maka-understand jud ta kung unsa ang mga sistema or unsa ang galaw sa transportation in real life, in reality. So that's all for our topic and thank you.
Good day, everyone! We are the Team Madagascar. I am Romringer El Pogoy
I am Miko Maliusa, and we are here at Ormoc City Terminal.
to interview some of commuters here in Ormoc City Terminal. So, naami karon sa Ormoc City Terminal.
Kay amo silang pangutanon nganong taas og linya ug nganong maglisod sila og sakay ug nganong traffic during peak hours.
And amo sad silang pangutanon kung unsa ilang ikasuggest aron mahapsay ang kanang traffic sa Ormoc City Terminal. So,
Are you a frequent commuter here sa terminal?
Yes.
And permente ba na ay long lines usually?
Yes.
And usually, what do you think is the cause nga no naman jud siya long lines dirit tinguli ka ng peak hours, tinguli sa estudyante nga man?
I think tungod kay ang kalang tricycle manggod sa Lilo a Libertad kay moagi pa man siya og kalang og hawbon og kadang usay kay salina og patambulilid where kadang damo og tawo nga nag-reside og nagpuyo. So maugor na rason nga damo magpundok diri dili na lang mo linya sa pa-Libertad nga linya.
Okay. And do you experience traffic sa during tiguli ninyo?
Yes, especially kanang dapit sa kanang mga tulay-tulay kanang sa Riverside dapit diha traffic gamay.
Sige, thank you. And what can you suggest siguro para dili siguro nay pila ba?
I think mas maayo if mas matunga pa ang kanang linya palitan sa base sa location kay ang I think ang primary problem magud is ang kapaspason sa pagbalik ug pag-adto sa kanang mga tricycle kay mag-wait pa may tricycles diri para makasakay.
Sige. Hi, do you usually commute here sa Ormoc City Terminal?
Oh.
And permente ka maka-experience og long lines especially during tinguli ninyo?
Oh, permitted na.
Permente jud. So what do you think is the cause man nga no naay pila na ingani kataas?
Kana usay magud kay murag ang usually jud niya ka cause kay kanang kulang sa tricycle.
And unsa may solution ma-think nimo ma-provide para wala siguro ingani na pila may tabo kay usually ako makita ang kaning sa Libertad permitted gud siya na long line while ang sa other kay daghan og linya sa tricycle pero way manakay. So unsa may mo solution siguro ana?
Siguro mas i-prioritize ang mga lugar kung asay mas damo pasahero kay para murag dili kayo ma-hassle gani kay nabi uban nga labi nating uwan wala jud tricycle.
Hi, so do you usually commute here sa Ormoc City Terminal ba dong sa inyo ha?
Yes.
And usually na siya long line basta tinguli ninyo?
Labi na og kanang rush hour na mga 5, mga 4 na lang.
What do you think is the cause nga no na long lines yat ng ating uli ninyo?
Kuan. Siguro tungod sa traffic.
Yeah. Kung sa man imo ma-think na solution siguro para ma-lessen siguro or dili magpila na sa during commute?
Siguro i-manage nila tarong ang pag-intersect sa mga sakyanan sa pasada.
During sa intersection?
And we are Team Madagascar. And we like to move it.